continue with our synodal journey, we realize that God journeys with us, Jesus journeys with us. Today's readings have the example of a widow. In the Bible, the widow is a very special category. Why is that? Because widows are considered as the so-called anavim, the less. They are spouseless. They have nobody to sustain them. And therefore, very often, the plight of widows was very bad. Widows had to beg for food. A good example would be Naomi and Ruth. In the book of Ruth, where Naomi and her daughter-in-law Ruth come back, and she tells people who know her, "My name is Naomi, pleasant, but from now on, call me Mara, which is bitter." That is in the book of Ruth, chapter 1, verse 20. So widows had nothing to look forward to. Most of them were very poor. In the first reading from the first book of Kings, chapter 17, verses 10 to 16, you have the narrative of a widow who encounters Prophet Elijah. Prophet Elijah asks her for a drink of water and then for a morsel of bread. Now she's extremely poor, and she says, "All that I have is a jar of flour and a jug of oil." And he tells her to prepare a morsel for him and then to prepare for her and her son. A miracle takes place, and the jar of flour is not spent and the jug of oil never gets emptied. The generosity of the widow is very beautiful. She gives everything that she has because she says, "After this, my son and I will die." When we come to the gospel reading, again you have the example of a widow, the Gospel of Mark, chapter 12, verses 38 to 44. Now Jesus is in Jerusalem, and Jesus is addressing the crowds. In our preparatory document, Numbers 17 to 21, we are asked to focus on Jesus and his encounters with people. Here Jesus is speaking to the crowds in the presence of the scribes. And he's telling them to beware of the scribes because they go around with long robes and they like to show off. They have a holier than thou attitude. Why is that? Because they are masters of the law. They know the law, the do's and the don'ts of religion, and they practice everything very meticulously. But they forget very often the spirit of the law, the spirit of love. Now, after Jesus cautions the people about the scribes, he's sitting before the treasury, watching people putting in money to the temple treasury. And the rich people come and put in large sums of money. And then finally, a poor widow comes and puts in 2 copper coins. And then Jesus commends her and tells his disciples that she has put in more than everybody else because she has given out of her poverty. She has given everything that she has. A very beautiful example of generosity, of giving everything. Friends, we are told during the synod to reflect on areas of synodality. And number 5 speaks of sharing responsibility for our common mission. So you and I are supposed to share responsibility for our God-given mission. We can ask ourselves, what do I learn from these 2 widows? What ought I to do? I'm reminded of this little girl and her grandfather who went to Mass one Sunday. And the old man, like many of us, kept on complaining after the Mass. The homily was very long and very boring. The choir was singing false. I got nothing out of the Mass. He kept on grumbling and complaining. And then the little girl told her grandfather, "Grandpa, I think that was a pretty good performance for the 5 rupees which you put into the box." Friends, we normally tend to complain about everything. But I think it is time that I ask myself and we ask ourselves, what is our responsibility? What is our contribution to the church, to the mission that we have been entrusted with? At the first level, we can think of, let's say, the money or something monetary that we give to the church, to people around us. But more than that, we can ask ourselves, how much do I contribute by way of my time, my talents, my energy? First within the church circle, so to say, and then the outer circle of people who do not belong to the church. Am I really generous? Am I really joyful in giving all of myself. It is said, you give very little when you give of your possessions. You truly give when you give of yourself. The second reading from the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 9, has Jesus as an example of self-giving. He's regarded as a high priest because he gives totally of himself, the sacrifice on the cross. Let us learn from him, and let us learn from simple people like these two widows who gave everything they had precisely because they believed that everything they have has been gifted by God. All of life is a gift which God has given us. Let us gift back everything to God joyfully and generously.
We walk by faith and not by sight. No gracious words we hear of him who spoke as none has spoke, but we believe him near. We may not touch his hands and side, nor follow where he trod, yet in his promise we rejoice and cry, my Lord and God. Help then, O Lord, our unbelief, and may our faith abound to call on you when you are near and seek where you are found. That when our life of faith is done in realms of clearer light, we may behold you as you are in full and endless sight.
May Mary, Mother of God, intercede for us. Amen.